I used to add 3 products to my thin hair every morning, and somehow make it look thinner by noon. Nobody told me the products themselves were the problem. If your hair has gotten finer, flatter, or harder to style over the past few years, you are not losing your options. You are just using the wrong steps in the wrong order. Today I'm walking you through 4 simple steps that actually build volume and texture into thin hair, the exact order to do them in, and what to say next time you're in the salon chair. I researched the worst styling mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results, fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The washing mistake that's flattening your hair. Here's something that surprises almost everyone I talk to. The shampoo aisle is lying to you. Every bottle that says volumizing is really just marketing a scent and a shape of bottle. Most of them are loaded with heavy conditioning agents that coat each strand. And on thick hair that's fine, there's enough hair there to carry the weight. On thin hair, here's the fix, and it's simpler than you'd think. Switch to a root-lifting, protein-light formula, and only apply conditioner from your ears down, never at the scalp. Ask for this exact language at the salon. I want something built for fine, thin hair, not a moisturizing formula, something that won't weigh down my roots. Any stylist worth their chair will know exactly what that means and point you toward a lightweight, volumizing line. The mechanism here is straightforward. Heavy conditioners contain silicones and rich oils that sit on the hair shaft and add weight. A lighter, protein-infused formula does the opposite. It swells the hair shaft slightly, giving each strand more diameter without adding grease or weight. When you stop conditioning the roots entirely, you're not stripping oil where you don't need it, and you're preserving the natural lift that your scalp's own oils would otherwise flatten by midday. Here's the before and after that matters most. Before, flat, oily-looking roots by noon. Hair that looks thinner as the day goes on. After, roots that hold their lift for hours. Hair that looks like it has more density even though not a single strand changed. But washing right only gets you halfway there. Because even with the perfect shampoo, if you're drying your hair the way most of us were taught 30 years ago, you're about to undo every bit of that lift the second you pick up the blow dryer. Part 2. The blow dry direction everyone gets backwards. Most women dry their hair the same direction it naturally falls. That feels efficient. It feels like you're working with your hair instead of against it. It's actually the single biggest reason thin hair looks thinner by the afternoon. When you dry hair in the direction it wants to fall, you're training the cuticle to lie flat against the scalp before you've even picked up a styling product. You're essentially ironing the volume out before you get the chance to build. The fix is what stylists call drying against the grain. And it takes the same amount of time you're already spending, you're just changing the angle. Flip your head upside down for the first 2 minutes of drying, letting the dryer's warm air hit your roots from underneath rather than from above. Then when you flip back up, direct the airflow slightly against the direction the hair naturally falls, not with it. Use this exact phrase with your stylist. Show me how to dry against the grain at the root. I want lift that lasts past noon. Here's why this works at the level of the actual hair shaft. Hair dries in whatever shape it's held in during the drying process. That's just how the hydrogen bonds in the cortex reset once moisture leaves. If you dry it flat against your scalp, it sets flat. The before and after here is specific. Before, roots dried flat against the scalp, volume gone within the hour. After, roots dried against the grain, lift that holds from morning coffee through the entire afternoon. Once your roots are lifted and set, there's a common mistake that undoes all of it in about 4 seconds. And it happens at the exact moment you think you're finishing your look. Part 3. The brush that's undoing all your volume. Here's the part almost nobody expects. The brush sitting in your bathroom drawer right now, the one you reach for every single morning, might be the exact reason your volume disappears within minutes of finishing your hair. Most of us were taught to use a boar bristle brush because it's gentle and good for shine. On thick hair, that's true. On thin hair, that same brush redistributes your scalp's natural oils down the length of the hair almost instantly, and oil is weight, and weight is the enemy of lift. You finish styling, it looks full, you run the brush through once more just to smooth any flyaways, and within 20 minutes it's flatter than before you started. If that's happened to you, you've probably blamed the styling product, or the humidity, or your hair just being like that now. It was the brush the whole time. The fix is switching to a vented paddle brush with widely spaced plastic or nylon bristles, specifically one labeled for fine or thin hair, and using it only at the mid-lengths and ends, never dragging it across the scalp. Say this to your stylist. I need a vented brush for fine hair, something that won't push oil down to my roots. They'll know precisely which shape and bristle spacing to point you toward. Here's the mechanism, and it's really about surface contact. Boar bristles are dense and closely packed, designed to grip and pull oil evenly down the hair shaft, which is exactly what thick, dry hair needs and exactly what thin hair doesn't. A vented brush with wide-set bristles skips most of the scalp contact entirely, and the venting allows air to keep moving through the hair even after you've finished styling. So the root area you worked so hard to lift in step 2 never gets pressed back down by brush strokes. One woman told me she switched brushes and for the first time in years, her regular stylist commented on it unprompted at her very next appointment. Asked what she'd changed because her crown had noticeably more movement and lift than any visit before. She hadn't changed her color, her cut, or her products. Just the brush. That's the entire fix, and that's the entire result. Before, a boar bristle brush pressing oil, and weight down toward the roots within minutes of finishing your hair. After, a vented brush that keeps your root lift intact from morning through the whole afternoon. 3 fixes in, and there's still one step left, the one most women skip entirely because they think their hair is too thin for it to matter, when it's actually the step that locks everything else in place. Part 4. The root spray step most women skip entirely. Most women with thin hair avoid root lifting sprays completely, and I understand exactly why. You tried one years ago. It left your roots feeling stiff, crunchy, almost sticky to the touch, and you decided volumizing products just weren't made for hair like yours. Here's what nobody explained at the time. You were using far too much, and applying it to dry hair instead of damp hair, which is precisely when it stops working and starts feeling like glue. Used correctly, a root lifting spray is the single step that locks in everything you've already done. The lightweight wash, the against the grain drying, the vented brush. Skip it, and all that work slowly relaxes by early afternoon. Include it properly, and that lift holds for the rest of your day. Here's the fix. Spray a root lifting product directly at the roots along your part line while your hair is still damp, no more than 3 to 4 spritzes total. Then dry as normal using the against the grain method from earlier. Never apply it once your hair is already dry, and never saturate the whole head. This product is meant for roots only. Tell your stylist exactly this. I want a lightweight root spray for fine hair, applied damp, just at the part line, nothing heavy. The reason this works comes down to timing at the molecular level. Root sprays contain polymers that need to set while the hair shaft is still flexible and wet, so they can form a light, flexible scaffold as the hair dries around them. Apply it to dry hair, and the polymer just sits on the surface, stiff and separate, which is exactly the crunchy feeling that turned you off years ago. Apply it correctly to damp hair, and it becomes part of the hair's actual structure as it dries, invisible, flexible, and holding lift from the inside rather than coating it from the outside. A woman in my comments described finally getting this step right and said her daughter, visiting for the weekend, ran her fingers through her mother's roots and said, "Wait, this feels like actual volume, not spray." Genuinely surprised there was any product in there at all. That's the marker of doing this step correctly. It should be invisible to the touch, only visible in how the hair holds its shape. Before, a stiff product-coated root that felt sticky within an hour, and eventually gave up on lift entirely by evening. After, roots that hold shape all day and feel completely natural to the touch. No one able to tell a product was even used. Put all 4 of these together, and you've rebuilt your entire thin hair routine from the roots up, quite literally, using nothing but the order you already do things in every single morning. You now know exactly why your hair goes flat. It's never been about how thin it is, it's been about the order of 4 small steps. The shampoo you choose, the direction you dry, the brush you reach for, and the one root spray step most women skip entirely. Get those 4 right, and thin hair stops being something you manage and starts being something people actually notice. Tell me in the comments, which one of these 4 steps have you been getting wrong this whole time? Next week I'm covering the exact haircuts that add the most visible density to thin hair, so you walk into your next appointment already knowing what to ask for. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.